Is that working now? I think I'm live. Okay. Having some issues connecting to the server tonight, which makes this feel like it's not going very well. Anyway, I'll reset what I was just saying before. I've noticed that I'm working a little bit slower. I'm paying a lot of attention to chat. I'm going to set up some timers later on tomorrow, just to set some light rules to help me get through the 10 songs for this month. I'm doing this more for my self as well, just to kind of document where what it's like to make this music and how that all comes together. So if you've got any suggestions about what to change and all other stuff, that is awesome. But maybe just keep it to yourself for now, and then later on, when I expose the song in its final format, we can have a final look through it all. It's a really weird experience to go through your art and have people suggest things as you're still even forming it. I'm not a fast worker. I'm a slow person at producing outcomes and stuff like that, and I use emotives and words and shapes and vision to kind of bring that to life. A lot of people can just smash out music theory and do all that, and that is not my jam. That's not how I compose. So let's jump straight into it. I'm just going to look up occasionally and see how it's all going, and thank you so much for tuning in, and then we'll check about it later. All right. So we're up to this bit in the song, and I'm just going to listen back to what we've kind of put in, and then I make some really straight calls about whether I like it or not from here. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Might headphones it. Dying to believe, hitting up your show. Everything is lost, everything is found. Nothing seems to ground you, everything is gone. Here I am. Awesome. I can hear a bunch of stuff that I want to change, so I'm going to get straight into that. Won't be talking about the changes I'm going to make. Just take a listen to it all, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Just gonna lower this note down. I just don't like where it went before. So we'll keep that chord there, and we'll bring up, maybe I'll drop all this down, and then we'll drop this to there. See what that does. Just gonna mess with this arpege. See what I can do with that. I'm just gonna quickly switch out to a different mode. I think the green screen's not. I don't know if it's glitching out a little bit. Oh well. We'll deal with this as a later stage. Thanks, class. Send it to Hunz at hunz.com.au, and yeah, I'll check it out. I'm trying to, after this I'll start minimizing input so I can get through all these tracks, because I've just got a really short deadline to kind of put it all together. So, but yeah, please send it through. That'd be awesome. Must be late there though too. Yeah. Dude, get some sleep. It's probably Sunday there soon, or is it there now? Gonna put some vocals in really quickly. I can hear some loud forward kind of things going on. Oh my goodness, I have to turn off all this stuff. Okay, we can do this. Okay, next we've got background vocals. Okay, get this in. You're another one. Okay. Bye. What are you set at? Main vocals, you're all good. Harmonies. Okay, I'm just gonna mute this a little bit. .com. .com.au. Yeah. Thank you. Hunz at hunz.com.au. So where is my setup for this? Let's do, no problems, man. Thanks for all sticking around, it's so cool. Had to do a quick reboot. Alright, this is off. Just gonna check the vocals. It may feed back really quickly, and if it does, my apologies. Alright, woo! Got it back. Here. Duplicate these out. Let's move you across to the other ones. Oh, hell. And I think that I could always plan. I like to think that I could always. I like to think that I could always. I like to think that I think that I could explore. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. To the small and everything you know is everything you breathe. You started small and everything you know and everything you breathe. Yeah, Start off slow and everything you breathe and everything you know, it comes back to the start again. You start small, and everything you ever know is driving a wedge between us. It's driving away. You start small, and everything streets between us, and everything start off small. 'Cause everything you know ain't big anymore. And everything drives between us, and everything you know seems to let you go. I can't give it no more. Stuff small, and everything dream about, and everything's so small, and everything you know is what you get about. So it should have been in recording mode the whole entire time, so you got double vocal takes. You're welcome. I super love the high notes I was singing, so I'm going to probably shift things around it. I will duplicate this stuff out. I constantly am moving things around based on what things, like, yeah, what I've kind of recorded and put in there. So let's just get a bit of I think I got a nicer reverb through that end. Gonna jump ahead to the other bits where I kind of went up at the end to see what that sounds like. And I want those to sit really far in the background. Headphones it for a second. Nectar is Isotopes, yeah, vocal mastering stuff. So it's new. This is Nectar 3. It's pretty interesting. It's got a bunch of machine learnt kind of setups in it too. I've kind of just put together a really basic setup for it, but it's really good for what I'm trying to do. And then later on when we run it, get it to a mixer, I'll give it to them pretty raw, and like, you know, totally unaffected, and they'll figure out what to do from there because they've got different equipment to run it through. Thank you, Klaus. I think what I kind of want to do is bring in this note slowly, like not have it here to start with, and then hopefully I'll just start ramping up the volume. My thought in my brain is that I think that might work really well over this bit. I'll just put auto seek on these so that I can hear them. But let's have a look. Should slowly start coming up. Not if I do O. It's in, everyone. Then let's turn this down a lot more. And I might actually shift these off the beat a little bit. So what would that sound like? Let's put them at 32 on the bar beforehand. Let's just have a listen to this. So I don't like it there. I think I just want it to sneak in a little bit at the start, so let's try another half in there. This chord sorted out so it doesn't hold. Where is that annoying synth? There it is, right there. So kind of got a little precursor in there. Just having a little bit of a think. I'm just gonna turn my speakers up on this end. One's Adele. Thanks, man. How's your evening been? I'm using the here the 5-face 802 RME. Probably same. This is a Babyface by them too. Super love RME. Don't like that. I'm just gonna shorten these little staccato notes out. I didn't want them to be anything special. Yeah, great card, man. I think it's too high, so I'm just gonna lower this down a full octave. I feel like this is a bit better. Might mess with this the off nature of the notes after this, but we'll leave it as is. I think that last note formation in there is not doing it for me in the arpeggiator. I'd much rather it hold than I would go down to the F. So let's just see. I might actually just lower this note down to C so that there's a slight variation in it, and let's listen to that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's doing it more for me now. I'm just gonna put the other attacky note over it now, and I'm just gonna listen to the chorus again. Did not want to turn that channel on. That's a bad one. Okay, so this will be fixed by this. Thank you, technology. Try something a little bit strange here. It's all gonna be terrible, but I don't mind. No, I don't want a rhythm underneath that. Let me just try this variant instead. Too far out. Oh my goodness, you wouldn't know who just wanted to just say hello. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of news going on. Yeah, you're being streamed now, little kitten. Thank you so much. That's a lovely visit. Yeah. Sorry, part of the stream will be being visited by my cat a lot. She absolutely every time I sing really loud or like ooh in a falsetto tone, she kind of comes in and she says hello. Super nice. I don't know if you knew, but one of the songs on Thoughts That Move was actually, I brought up, I love animals. I brought up one of my chickens, and her name was Frida. And I sampled everything in and created all the stuff from her, her vocals. It was, she passed away like a couple of years back, and it's really hard to listen to the song. Really sentimental. love animals a lot. So yeah, I was thinking I was going to do a very similar thing this time around because I've got 3 chickens now, but I think I'll leave it for another time. Maybe I'll just do my cat this time. Suddenly put her in a track. I'm just going to leave this running through just the way it is. I think I'm going to variate it between the 2 cut points that we've got there. And then I'll just loop this around. Awesome. Don't know if I love that going there, but I think what we're gonna have to do is figure something out. I don't know if I love it just droning in that tone. Just listen to that in context. I'm just gonna turn on vocals. I think what I want to do is, I'm just going to do it by hand first, but I think I want that to shift around a little bit more to really honor this chord progression underneath here. Alright, so we'll put this through and we'll start just, I'm going to use the glide command. I think he talked about how he misses glide a lot. Sample-based programs use have the ability to glide through the notes. So I'm gonna say number one reason why I use a tracker, that and sample offset, and then kind of stay away from VSTIs a lot because of that number one reason. But then when I have to, I kind of have to go through the MIDI manual and figure out, oh yeah, we're gonna do this and this and this, but it just doesn't have the same thing. I love the damage this creates. Like, it creates so much damage as it goes octave down through some mink, and everything kind of changes. It's not like a VSTI. It's all based around samples being triggered back. So you either love it or hate it. I adore it. It's so cool. So we're gonna mess with this a little bit. And I'm not afraid with it sliding down at this point. Here. I think it's just a semitone. Love that delay on it because it slowed the sample right down. It's getting triggered off really differently. I actually really like that suddenly gets cut off again by the sample, so I'm going to leave it in. And then I'll put this one up and I'll end this off. So we'll just cut into this how we feel. I'm just gonna look at this as it gets triggered. Where are we? Come on. So we've got a 13 cutting on there, so let's try and move that in. Do-do-do, do-do-do. I'm just gonna listen to that together. I might just trigger that one more time. Okay. Let's get this in a nice place. Thank you. We gotta redo these vocal takes. Everything is gone. Just gonna try something down on the last note of this. No reverb or anything on this. Might fix those up and make them more in time. So I think these harmonies, I'm going to build them up really quick towards the end of this so that we can really open out into this last bit. So this first part here we'll delete completely. This part here we'll leave in. This part has now the doubles, and then we need the triples, which end up down here. And I will copy these over. And if that doesn't work, I'll place it here. I'm also just going to quickly run these through. Like, this is really dirty, the compressor I've got in there. I've just done that on purpose to make sure that we can hear them. And then I'm going to quickly send them just to this universal verb I've got set up. Alright, so I think the agon's going down low. I am going to fix up, but I'll probably do that. I'll do the takes instead by myself. at a later date. For now, we'll just leave it just the way it is. And then with these harmonies, we're going to bring it more forward and more wide. So just solo these out and we'll have a look at, listen to them on their own. Watermelon X, thank you so much for the follow. Okay, so I'm just going to listen to this going to the next bit, see if that's kind of working. Alright, let's kill that part. 100% gone. Where are you? Who wants to hang in there? Goodbye. Watermelon X, have I used FL Studio before? No, but I know a bunch of people who do use it. Do you use FL Studio? Try something a little bit of a change up in the drum percussion. I just need to hear it. I'm just feeling curious. Just give me a second to set that up. Hi, it's open. What are you doing, buddy? Let's go to you. So I'm just doing a massive change up in the beat. I do this sometimes because I'm just a bit like, oh, what if something just changed up here, but may not stay. And I'm just going to swing this around a little bit. Use a little triplet in with it, and then we'll roll this in. Boom, boom, boom. And then I'm going to slowly open this up as well. So before and another session, I've just shown how I tune all this together so that I can control it through the tracker. So this will start opening up the kick drum. So there's so many ways that you can tackle the same issues. That's just how I choose to do it. And then I'm going to tighten it back up on this bit. So we will octave this up and get more out of this noise. And I'm just going to slightly open up this snare noise. And so same deal, totally controlling this to open up. And then just quickly ramping down the volume when I don't want the noise on anymore. I'm going to keep this rhythm really simple, no change ups or anything, because the idea of this is to basically see, okay, can it take this change up and does it feel alright, or does it just feel lame? So I think with that whole thing, that nom noise, I think I'm just going to trigger it off like once at the start of each of these phrasings instead as the little change up for it. Now just put the synth drone in. I think this needs to hold on the whole entire time. I'm not feeling that. So let's just put that in. I'll put that in on the off beat to help with the kick drum triplets we've got going on. Let's put the there and you there just for now. Quick as something about that just sounded really neat, but that's not the intention of it. Okay, all the other tracks on. Gonna try no hi-hat. I'm just gonna have a listen through to this. Switch it back to the way it was. I have a feeling this slowdown might work. I think the triplets is a bit of an off step with it. So this is going back to the fast version breakdown. I'll go from the start. Dying to believe, hitting up your show. Everything is lost. Everything is found. Nothing seems to ground you. Everything is gone. a bunch of stuff with the hi-hats. I'm about to octave it down. Just gonna switch them off. I have a feeling the whole "Here I Am" thing needs to stop as we roll into this bit. So I'm just going to quickly just have a look at that as well, and then I'm going to loop it around and see if I can discover some other things. There were some other vocal takes that I took that I can layer over the top as well, so I might have a look at that at the same time. And then these harmonies sitting over the end of this is kind of really super interesting to me. I think I grabbed the wrong one, yeah? I think after that it just finishes that part of it. The other thing I was looking at was getting rid of this arpeggiator altogether. Sorry, I'm just going to get rid of it. And then I'm just going to work on the harmony delivery of this part. I'm going to copy this over to here. So what do we have on this note beforehand? We had, let's bring you over. So let's do an F, D sharp and D. Thank you. Didn't like that because I gotta slide that down. Where's my bass at? Yeah, that's not a bad suggestion. Have a look at that too. A gun. Roll that up to the G. Thanks, Klaus. I might have a listen to it in the next session. I'll stick my head down and keep doing. Yeah, that's vocal synth put out by Isotope as well. It's really cool. Like there's a bunch of different additives that you can add to it. Like this is a straight up vocoder. It has a bunch of different waves that it pumps itself through, but at the same time it also has one where you can adjust it. So have a look at this. When you go through these presets, it'll all make a lot of sense, and you can kind of go through it. So it's really like absolutely complete, and then at the same time it's got a bunch of different things. So this polyvox one is more for manipulating the vox, but you can run this biovox through it, and you can actually, like, this is pretty interesting. You can actually add more nasal breath into the actual tone of it, and then you can change the clarity at the same time. So see this? You can push it more into the IE vowel shapes. So like sometimes for vocal takes when you just can't get access back to the singer again, but you needed it to kind of go whoa, like on the end of it. A lot of the times we just find ourselves manipulating it out into this tone, and they were none the wiser. So yeah, it's really good if it's like, if you've got the, like, I've been investing and buying and upgrading as I go along, so it's a lot cheaper now for me to keep going through. But the initial layout of it is kind of worth it if this is what you do. But yeah, these guys, yeah, and plus they're getting into ML, machine learnt stuff, and it's just like, holy smoke, like it's just making it a lot better. Oh, and now I've got it stuck in my BioVox. So sometimes, like a lot of the times when I'm producing other artists and I hear different harmonies, I just grab all their vocals and I'll put all these harmonies together like this, and then I'll just solo them out so that they know what they're singing, and then I'll come back with the takes. But at least we've got this as a B-roll too, to kind of mess with the to add into it, and sometimes this works super well. With what I'm doing, I might actually leave a ton of it in. I just love actually how gritty it is, and anything to me that breaks up audio, I just instantly fall in love. Yeah. So before I was just talking about how someone had asked about a plugin that I use, and that was a plugin called Vocal Synth. And I was just going into an explanation about how Vocal Synth is really great. So we might just have to rewind a little bit if you're watching this on YouTube. My apologies for that. I'll do my best to express the questions that are being asked from here on in, so that you have to bounce back and forward. But ultimately, I was just talking about how Vocal Synth just allows a lot of power and shape and change through what's going on. It also has normal vocodering plus a ton of other things for helping to manipulate vocals. And I was just explaining about when I'm producing vocals and the singer can't get back into the studio, I usually go through the BioVox over here, and you have the capacity of putting vowel shapes back into their singing, and that singing is really great. For creating, like if they go ah, you can kind of go ah, like shape it down to a different shape on the end of it. They didn't know that they were not singing that, but it's really cool for that. The other thing is, if you love that breathy kind of tone, you can shift it in there, and there's lots of different syllabus change ups that you can do with it. Even the nasally kind of noise like that you just heard there, that you can do with it as well. So yeah, just have a little rewind through that conversation, and I'll do my best from here on into when I'm answering questions that are in chat, that I'll say them back, so that you guys get some insight into that. All right, onward we go. I'm just gonna hear this in context and then see if this runs together. I forgot this was happening. A person just suggested in chat, so let's have a conversation about what we call sonic memory. So I've brought this up a couple of times. So sonic memory is this idea that we can hear stuff, but it's actually not even in the song. So repetition happens a lot in pop music, and then all of a sudden when you take stuff away, you're actually humming it to yourself and it gets placed in there. So someone had suggested, as I'm about to remove all of this repetitious stuff, put a low pass filter over it. And it beautifully also articulates a bit of sonic memory, because it ghosts the note out, it takes out all the high frequencies, and you're kind of left with this idea of kind of understanding what's there, or then it kind of just disappears. So there's so many different ways to approach the sonic memory issues, and they become solutions later on. So when you've got too much spectrum noise or spectral noise in a mix, what you're doing is you're subtracting stuff that is really popular or stuff that you've really repeated, and when you take it out, your brain kind of makes up the difference. So when I'm working with other producers and we're working on other songs and stuff like that, there's a lot of conversation and argumentative conversation that goes into doing that. With this specifically, the arguments will just lie with me. These are my songs, and I'll be doing them my own way. But I will articulate why I'm making those decisions. And a lot of the times, I'll just bring this up really quickly. These are the lyrics that kind of shaped out of it. Now, I'm a visualist when it comes to writing music, and that's a different approach. So I use color and I use imagery that's floating around in my brain, and I try and express it sonically. And as I've worked with different people in the music industry, everyone has such a different way of dealing with this. But that's inherently how I work. So when I'm working with artists, I kind of paint a picture with them, and we literally talk through this image, and then I start attaching sounds and identities to it. So even when I'm mixing sometimes, and we'll just come back to this mode, I change these colors to represent a spectrum of things so that I understand what sits in the bottom end and what sits in the high end. Not everyone does it that way. That's how I do it. So it's a really important part of my process, and a lot of the times I will make tons of mistakes, and I love that. I didn't study music. I don't want to know anything about how it moves. I want to sit there and just be really surprised. And when I've worked with such young artists, I am just amazed at how naive they are with music and how beautiful it is. And then as people get older and they just get a little bit more cynical and they move through music, they seem to just want to make it more complex, or they want to change it up and make it all different because they're so bored with it. And when I was young, I kind of articulated that I don't want to end up like that. I still want to just make mistakes and not know what's going on. So it is that it's a little haphazard when I'm putting stuff together, because I know some basics, but other than that, I'm just kind of using my ears and shaping stuff around. So everyone has different writing styles, and if you have understood theory and all that other stuff, that is awesome, and you will do great stuff. I'm improvisational and very visual in the way that I kind of bring stuff about. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to continue putting in these vocal harmonies, and he said, I've been theorizing about this a long time since someone complimented a melody line that was not there. And yeah, so basically he had no idea, and so he's basically just mentioning that with that whole idea of sonic melodies, our brain kind of picks up different frequencies and makes stuff up. There's a song in this list of things that everyone feels like I've doubled the vocals up, like sung up the octave, but when you really listen, it's not there. But what was happening is I was singing it along with it for a while, and now people who have heard it when they had listened to the stream can only hear it with it. I'll be putting it in there, but I can take it away later on in the song to free up that frequency and put other stuff in there. So yeah, it's really fascinating. I've got some books about it. I can link to some of those books if anyone's interested. I've read a lot of what would you call it? Like psychology theory about music? That's not the right word. The psychoacoustics areas of stuff, that's more interesting to me. And kind of how to bring that together. This is back at class. He has said that the stream should be mandatory in schools for everyone in the world. Thanks, man. It covers 2 basic needs, humility and creativity. I super appreciate that, man. Onwards to the vocals. All right, so let's mess with these vocals now. So I'm gonna remove all these. So don't like that at all. Something about me working on this right now tonight, every time things fire off, I just feel propelled into it. It's not often that I connect with, it's not often that you sometimes can connect with the material so instantly. So if I'm acting a bit erratic, it's because I'm just getting all these different thoughts and ideas to kind of change up a little bit. So when that vocal hit in, it just kind of just drew me in all of a sudden. So okay, cool. Now that I got that out of my system, vocal harmonies, vocals, let's go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring back the beginning of the song, and I think I did that before. To answer, like, if anyone's asking the question, am I happy that it's not re-echoing the words? I am not happy that it's not doing that. But what I'm trying to do next is more important than going back and faffing around with whether I like that or not. I'm going to see whether the song can go back into itself and repeat, because then I've got a structure that kind of works. If it doesn't, then I need to figure out if there's going to be an intro back into the verse. And I need to solve that because I want it to feel normal. I don't want it to feel like all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, I couldn't get that working. So let's just loop it back into it, and let's see what happens next. So I'm gonna ditch the vocal. Just gonna ditch this note. What's really interesting is that chord reverberating out over the top of it. I'm gonna get some more control of it now. So I'm going to find the root chord of this, and that just means look at the bass and then run an E major or minor over the top of it. It's just a fancy way of saying that. Let's get rid of you. So what we've got here is C on there. I think this will be a minor. Klaus is just telling me to ignore him because he's recording this whole entire stream. And this is when I'm like, well, I talked with my copyright lawyer, and so I don't know what that means. I just pause for a long time and just stare at the screen like this. But that's really flattering. Thank you so much. Really typical movement there. I don't know how I get away with that at the beginning. It felt like such a change up in this note here. There's something about that felt different, and then when you use these chords, I'm just like I'll do the classic, and I don't want to do that at all. So what are we gonna do with this? I think I'm gonna volume this down. And I'm not really happy with where this tone ended up, so there's a little bit more work in here. And then I've got this filter on here. Let me just kill this for a second. So I'm going to listen to these running into each other. I'm going to do one more thing here with these vocals. Where is my BGs? I just want to see what the deal is with this. Triggering this off again. So I had a feeling that might work really well, kind of bridging through that, and I'm glad I tested that out. Something so haunting about that, the tone of that, and I might arrest some of the notes. So what I'm talking about by arresting the notes, creating more tension between all the notes, so that when we get into this next part, it kind of settles down a bit. And why would I be doing that? What's my motivator behind doing that? I'm going to go back to the lyrics again. This will just come up on a little screen. It's a song about self-confidence and self-doubt running simultaneously side by side, arguing with each other the whole entire time. There's nothing worse than unresolved tension, and in music we can do that really well, so that's what's going to represent the self-doubt in this. The fact that all the music kind of shuts down for me also exercises that idea. And then with this kick, I'm actually going to follow the root note of the chord of the bass for a second, just to see if that works really well. I might octave it up. I'm going to keep it low. Wasn't very happy with that. Everyone's excited in chat, and I super appreciate it, but they're also asking me at the same time to ignore what they're saying. So some of the grins that you're getting intermittently through this are because I'm reading it, and I won't say it out loud, so just ignore me. Do you know, I can kind of hear another melody could open in over that, so I'm just going to bring in what I sung. That doesn't work, but that's okay. What I will do is I'll trigger off this other part that I was just singing random kind of variations in the same theme. So I'll cut through these and see what kind of works the best. And between us, and just go back up one. So it's terribly auto-tuned. I'm just going to relax this a bit. So like when I'm playing around with this, I'm trying to think, would this fit into a bridge mentality? And if it does, then that's really cool, because what we're doing here now before we do before we bring in the verse is we're kind of shadowing what the bridge is going to feel like, and I like that it just naturally kind of combined itself to come together. A lot of the times, like when you're constructing songs and you're really overworking them, you're trying to figure out how to put all these puzzle pieces together. So that it would naturally come together like this is really nice. And then you could just see this really nice breakdown where this height could come in into the bridge area and kind of build up, and then the arpeggiator could come up, it shuts down, and it's just like, but who I am, and then it just kicks back into the chorus again, and it might thump a bit more under that. So yeah, that feels like that will work really nicely. So what do we do now? We quickly put that together. It's okay if it's super messy, who cares? What we're trying to do is ascertain at the end of this session more of the completed song structure than we have before. Right now we've got two ideas, a verse and a kind of chorus, and now we just need to figure it out. The other thing I want to come back to visit is this melody here. I just want to sing it in again and see if I can get into the tone of it. It feels a little uncertain, and then I want to know, like, if I am singing it with strength, does it feel alright, or does it just feel a little like I'll use the word cheesy, There's something in it that doesn't feel cool enough to me yet, but it passes at the same time. And I don't, only you as a songwriter can curate what coolness is, because the reason you created a style and do what you do is because you decided, and you edit those decisions with your own ear, your own way. So for me, when I'm listening to that, and my measure of that is, I'll use the word cool, doesn't mean that it is, it's just what I use to describe it. I will keep pushing that until it jumps over that bar, and when it does, then I'm fine. Somehow for me, this other line, I think that feels cooler to me. But this line, I think it just needs a little bit more work to find what it is. And it could be subtle, it could just be my voice breaks here and there through it. Show everything is lost, everything is found, nothing seems to ground you, everything is gone. Here I am. Did you just hear that? A note just went over the background in there, and that is because the delay buffer that's happening in the vocal chain is storing some of the vocal memory through it, and then it suddenly gets triggered off again when there's no vocal playing, but the vocal chain gets turned on. So all of a sudden we just had this note like tickle in, and I just was immediately just like, yeah, class is like, is it okay to like it? And I'm just like, yeah, I just somehow, like, that's what I love about doing music with tons of mistakes through it. It kind of clutters up, and you're just like, oh, I think I want to try and get that in. So my theory is it took one of these notes. So so I'm just gonna find it, and then I'm just gonna put it in there. Oh, here's the thing. Klaus asks, will it be rendered? So he's asking a question like, when I go and render the song or run through it, will it be there? It won't, because it was stored up in another vocal take that we played, and then when that track was turned on, it just turns the whole machine on. And this is I don't know if this is an isotope problem, but the buffer seems to get triggered. And it happens all the time. So what was stored in the buffer suddenly just goes off, and then that's what we got. Okay. So it's kind of like a precursor to what this is, so I'm just going to jump into it. And then we'll be really nasty with it for now, but we know, and this could work just fine. I'll turn it down a bit. It's actually sharp, I believe, but that is because this isn't reacting fast enough. Let me just try this. Just gonna ping it to the another channel. I'm gonna leave it there, but we'll I think it needs to be slightly sharper, so I'll do that by hand. Oh, sharper. Maybe something we take out later, but that was a nice reminder of a problem or a mistake. So we're gonna get into this bridge idea right after this. Really needs sung in. So ditch that. And I really want to just go straight back into the song after this little breakout. So let's just try that real quick. Where are you? Oh wow, that sounded super interesting too. We'll ignore that. Okay, cut that note off. Cathedral put up picture of Bob. Oh, it's Bob Ross. Is it Bob Ross? Oh my goodness, I'm gonna say it wrong. But it's like happy accidents. It's so true. And Klaus is saying I could repeat that ooh like a bass drum. I'd be keen to try that out. So we'll continue with this little going out of this chorus. Okay, we're gonna repeat this part. We'll bring this down here. I just want to check this vocal take because it's got so it comes in on this again, but there's a lead in into it that I never recorded. Everything is lost, everything is fun. Nothing seems to everything is. So I'm gonna do a little cheaters thing here. So we're gonna remember 9/6 because we're gonna sample offset it. And I'm just gonna lead in with it and see what happens. And it's what I'm trying to do here is just get a hint of what this is supposed to do. It's gonna be completely wrong. It feels like it would fit in. I think it's just, its delivery is too high, so let me find something else. Let's try 3/8 instead. And then later on we'll do some great vocal takes and smooth all this out. Okay, and that is great. Wrong timing for everyone. It's right on the beat, man. So I'm just going to leave this in here. It's absolutely confusing, but what I really want is the lead-in notes to see whether it can take this rhythm that's about to hit into it next. We're not going to adjust this verse. We're going to leave it as is. Later on we'll add some flavor to it and figure out what to subtract and add to it. But again, focusing on shapes right now. Okay, so chords go off at this point. I feel like we could do a really massive downslide with the chords on the end of this. So let me get into that mode. I'm just going to note off them into the beginning of the next track. And then we'll go down just ever so slight to make it just feel like it's not really, the machine's kind of melting a bit. So hard to hear that together, isn't it? So all of a sudden the energy is completely lost from the track, and that is literally because we've got this beautiful bass frequency kicking in, and then we decide to thin it out, and we're not going to do that. We're going to keep this pulsating through. The other thing is we thin out the bass, and I think for this next verse, I think everything kind of opens up into it. Let's just have a listen to this. And there may not be enough of a change up now. It's okay. So let's just leave this, because we kind of want to get to the end of... There goes the dying again. We want to get to the chorus again really quickly. Just copied it over the whole chorus. Nothing seems to ground you. Everything is gone. I reckon we hit it in there as well. Something weird happened then. I think the chords got butchered out. Oh yeah, they did. They were deleted. Good times. So we're going to put this part down there again, and at the end of this part I'll just make sure I've got it in the right place, and I'll just put some names above this now, so that we know where we are. And this is post-chorus. It could be pre and chorus. It doesn't really matter. Only you get to decide what the name is. You could call this Jimmy. Like, oh my goodness. Imagine that. You start a new phrase where every time after a chorus, you just go to Jimmy. And then everyone's just like, yep, that's what we're calling it from now onwards. That would make my night. Okay. We'll move this down. We'll get rid of Jimmy. It was good while it lasted, bro. And we'll make you post-chorus. So we're just going to keep repeating this little bit out. I'm just going to quickly write a bass part underneath this that I'm just feeling. This is hopefully this isn't too weird to start with, and then we'll just take it from there. I don't know, my head is just like, this is gonna work. I'm thinking really hard right now. Just hearing some kind of like really arpeggiated bass line underneath all this that suddenly just starts taking over. So we're going to play with that for a little while, and then maybe in about 30 minutes, where are we at? We'll all laugh, and then take it from there. We'll get rid of this vocal coming in. Where are you coming in, buddy? Okay, on this go. Oh, bye. Yeah. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll get so Klaus is saying put a low pass filter over the top of the bass. Definitely we'll try some of these things for controlling it a little bit more. What I'm going to do first though is I'm going to bring in the vocal that we've kind of run through, and then see where that leads us. So let me just get that in. Just want to see if it all works when it's all at its maximum. I think that I could always play. I think that just putting auto seek on this. I think that I could always play. I like to think that I could always. I think that I could always play. Alright, so I'm going to play with this a little bit more. I want it to be a little bit more melodic than it holding. Remembering the track kind of just has this "Here I Am" tone kind of running through it. So for me, I want this not to just follow suit on that yet. I think the intro into it can be a little bit more mono, but what we're doing here is we're building it up to its most potential so that we can start subtracting stuff away from it. So that's what I do. That's how I kind of bring all this stuff together. All right, so I'm going to now mess with these chords and bring them up in volume. I'm going to just test this out. I think that try that chord. Then I'm just going to influence this to have similar notes in it. So once you kind of created this riff, you kind of look through here, and then all the G's are going up to G sharp. So I'm just going to quickly make that adjustment to them all. And the other thing is from up here, the D sharps had switched over to the F, so I'm just going to do that as well. And it can be completely wrong, and that's okay. It may be better that it just holds, but I do want this to keep shifting, so. I'm just going to get rid of this down. Not too into that chord, to be honest, but that's okay. Just going to solo it without the bass now, and we'll get the chords in place. And I'm going to octave these down. I'm not feeling them really high right now. I think Oops. Okay, I've come back to the base now, and I'm just going to, I'm gonna keep the arpeggiaty idea. I'm just gonna try and find the supplementary root notes my head is feeling. Let me get that kick in the right place. When you're working with tunings of kicks, everything affects everything. So the problem we'll have here is that I can already foresee is it's such a far removal from what's been going on beforehand. So I'm going to listen to it in a bit of context to get an understanding of over whether whether that's right or not. What I mean by context is the shift up in chords is a light where it's going. So it's really nice, it's just not for the song. And I really like that kind of shift up. I think what I want to do instead is hit this up. So let me just hear where that goes. I'm gonna headphone it in a sec. The clutter is happening because of the tuning of this. And it's a nice note, but let's just go down to this note instead. Just gonna try up to where I might normally go. I am gonna try the C, but I'm gonna switch up the chord. It's going to C sharp. Just gonna push this up to the down to the A, and this no, that to the F. What are you doing to me? Come on. Let's just try typical. Leave that. Rest you. Just wanna. I'll hear this in context of everything. I feel like it's also not gonna be right, but I don't know. I don't know. Hear it all, you know. Dying to believe. Hitting up your show. Everything is lost. Everything is found. Nothing seems to ground you. Everything is gone. Kind of works through there too. Alright, I'm gonna have an ear break. That's what I'm gonna do. In moments like this, have an ear break. Be back in like maybe 10 minutes. Whoa. That was a great ear break, but I've realized that I need more of a break, and it's late here, and not as late as it is at Shula's class, but it's late. So what I'd like to do is I'm just gonna quickly like punch a shape into this and bounce it down for review tomorrow. I need to give my ears a bit of a longer break than just 10 minutes, and I think that will be the best thing for it. So let's quickly just jump over to writing mode here. I'm just gonna add a pre-verse, no, a post-chorus in here as an identity. So we got verse, we got just intro, which isn't really an intro, it's just bringing in the wrong vocal take, but one that we can deal with, right? We got verse 1 in here, then we go to chorus, then post-chorus, and then we go to the pre-verse, verse, chorus, post-chorus, and then here we're messing with this new movement here. What I'm going to do is repeat this, and I'll repeat it 4 times for now, and then I'm going to go down into the chorus and post-chorus, and I'm going to just tack this onto the end here. So let's just go, and why don't you copy over the names? I mean, come on. And then post-chorus. I just keep hearing Jimmy in my head now. Okay, so, and then we've got verse intro, but that's not really it. And then we have a bridge here, which isn't great just yet, but we're working on it. So I'm just gonna play through the sections, and then I'm gonna stop it, and I'm gonna clean up what's overhanging. Then after this, I'm gonna go straight into thoughts mode, and then we'll break down some thoughts about it, and then I'm gonna take some liner notes to figure it out. Then after that, I will end the stream, and I will be back again tomorrow night for about a 4 or 5 hour run. So for the rest of this week, I'll be doing five-ish hours every single night to get them together. I've kind of estimated that I need to finish every song, and I've only got 2 physical days to finish it. So if chat grows and there's more things going on, I will be ignoring more, or putting, chat's got a really great slow mode, so I might put it into that. And then on top of that, I got to do vocal takes as well. So the tireder I get, the more this guy, he's not great, but it can make for some interesting sessions, huh? But I'm in thoughts mode. What am I doing? Going straight into writing. I'm just gonna listen to the bridge. It's repeating way too much, but we can deal with that. I think that I could always play. I like to think that I could always. I haven't heard the take past here. So apart from that being way too loud, all the obvious things, no build up, it's really anti everything, it's going to fill the gap for now. There was no chord clashes happening through there, so I'm just going to listen to it from this verse onwards, the pre-verse onwards, and just see if I need to clean anything up. Ooh, before I do that, I'll just do note offs there. It's so rough. I think tuning all these kicks is going to be super important. When you listen to this in SoundCloud later, you'll just hear so much clashing frequencies. So that'll be a quick thing to do later. We won't work on it now. Ooh, what a happy accident. Thank you, Bob. And I think Klaus, you were just saying, had mentioned something about kick drum. I don't know if I'll make the pattern go that crazy, but I think on first beats, which might be similar to what you were trying to suggest, on first beats it's going to be like really nice further on in the song, just as a really cool surprise. Okay, so where are you? Synth drone is the thing that's going to cause the most injury. Alright, and this note hung over. Just listen to that again. Klaus just sent me a little smiley face in agreement. Thank you. Here I am. Here I am again. Maybe I slide down a bit with that too. I reckon this needs to go twice before we kick into this, but here we go. Like bring in that arpeggiated bass over this a little bit and it kind of builds itself up. Pause, pause. Here I am. And then here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Needs a bit of fixing up on all those harmonies. End scene. And like really, just a really clunky like burp note on the end. Because you can, like, we're in control of the song. I won't do it, but it's cracking me up a little bit, and that means I'm tired. Yeah. There's slight sidechain in that. Klaus has just asked there's a bit of clashing between the low ends, and that's exactly right. And then asked if I had sidechained them yet. There's a little bit of sidechain, but more to the point, the biggest clashes are coming in because the kick drum is tuned, and I'll be following the bass with it the whole way through. So even in here, it's in C. So I was going to do this later, but I might just quickly fix it up now. And then it'll just make it a little bit more pleasant. I'm sidechained it slightly, and I don't want to sidechain it too much more. And this should be enough to kind of keep everything together. Yeah. And then I'll let mixing take care of the rest of it. Everything is lost. Everything is... And there might be still some little clashes in it here and there, so I'll just put some liner notes that once we clean this up, everything has to be pretty much on point, or else this is going to... Yeah, no one likes clashing low end. Yeah, it's a good idea. Plus has just suggested some other little slight things. What I'll do is I'll write some liner notes for things that we can work on next. I feel like I want to harmonize with that note. That just brings this visual of a strobe going off in slow motion. Here I am. Might be nice to do a bigger break in that breakdown too. Okay, so no clashes in notes, thank you. We solved that. I'm actually just gonna let this hang. I'm not ashamed of this being a complete demo. Even the beginning is terrible. And what I mean by that, it's not terrible. I just haven't. Fizzlu, thank you for becoming a follower. Appreciate it. Class, thank you so much for dropping in, man. I really appreciate it. And have some good sleeps. Sleep good. You drank coffee and you stayed up late for me, and I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Okay, so let's just shrink this down, and then we'll roll this into 32. Let's do 32. And let's bounce this into here. Oh, let's do 16. Now, this is going to be completely wrong, but it's just this idea that we need some passing notes in at the front, and when we redo the vocal takes, we'll kind of see. Vislu has just asked, what is this software? It is called Renoise, and someone has said, dude, it looks like you're using HTML. So it's kind of it's tracker software, and so it's been based heavily from a scene called the demo scene that started out in the Commodore 64, and it has ties in with the cracked software kind of background. So they wanted to kind of combine all of the instrumentation in with the MIDI information, and then it kind of gelled together so that when you got playback in the song, it was identical to the intention of the artist. MIDI doesn't do that. Way back, like when this became popular, this is called tracking. MIDI would use the sound card in your computer to make the sounds. So if you said, hey, make the sound of a bell, depending on the sound card you had, it would be a different bell tone. So yeah, that's what this is a tracker, and it's a DAW that's like fully functional, runs it everything that everyone's used to, takes VSTs, VSTIs and everything, but it's just works in a different manner. It scrolls up and down. But we'll have a listen through this quick tight together song setup that we've got going, and just remember this this little vocal take here that I've got here is not a part of it. I'm hacking this all together. So Vislu, I would love to. At the moment, I'm on this huge challenge to get 10 songs recorded in the month of February, so my time is completely limited. But after Feb, if you're still hanging out, I would love to do that. But best of luck with that. So as we pull into this bit, thanks Vislu. Good luck with all your tunes, man. Everything is lost. Everything is found. So verse structure in, and now heading into the chorus. Everything is gone. So I'm just going to put listen in, and I'm just going to create some liner notes as we run through this. It's post-chorus. Verse setup, we're just trying to shape it together. Chorus and then post-chorus. Everything is found. Nothing seems to ground you. We got verse next. So I've left which which I actually don't mind. I've left all the vocoder, wow, stuff on. I don't know if we need to put this verse intro back in at this point. I think we can jump straight into the bridge. And this bridge is so incomplete, just sketched in. And so with this bridge, we need to arpeggiate the bass coming in now. So dun 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 dun. And then a long break. That who I am, who I am again. Who I am, who I am. So overall, side chains, and it's just gonna end ugly. It's my favorite way to end a track, and then we'll render it and it'll just like stop. That way everyone knows it's a demo. It's brave. I'm just gonna run into thoughts really quickly. I just thank you so much for sticking around, everyone, tonight, and pretty happy with where that's going. I want to reconnect back with the theme of it at a later date, and just make sure we're on track with it all. The post-chorus is really surprising to me, so I need to create some space to make that happen. He was just saying that that is a perfect tracker ending, and I agree. My Klaus, and thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. So I think there is a lot of work, and what I think I need to do is do other liner notes when I've got fresher ears. I think that will go a long way to make it really awesome. Man, thank you so much. I'll bounce this down. I'll put it on SoundCloud with the other 12 with the other tracks. If you don't know already, I'm going to also create a playlist that puts together out of the 17 songs that we sketched, we're only going to be making 10 of them, but I've dwindled them down to 11, just in case one of them doesn't work out. So we need to ferociously sprint to the end of the month of February to get this done for the RPM challenge. And then after that, I'll take a sleep. But thank you so much for joining me. It's been awesome. Sleep well. Have good days. See you.
So